Hello world of YouTube and welcome to another web-slinging, action-packed episode of...
Expectations. Reality.
The show where I talk about what I thought I would get out of a game before giving you the reality of what I actually faced. And this is another entry in the Year of the Spider. Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. My year-long celebration of the webhead himself, Spider-Man, because we had No Way Home just dropped at the end of last year. We got Spider-Verse 2. Spider-Man's just kind of all over the world right now. Morbius is about to come out, unfortunately. And I figured I would do a video on this particular subject because I had a really interesting time playing it, and it is a sequel to a game from my childhood that I hadn't played until said streams went down. It is the game Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, which came out in 2001. It is a sequel to this game right here, Spider-Man 2000. This game was developed by Vicarious Visions. This one was developed by Neversoft. I didn't even know that going into it. And what I was hoping to get was a sort of by-the-numbers sequel. You know, Enter Electro isn't a game that I hear anybody ever really talk about. It's not a game that I see praise thrown around to the same accolades that Spider-Man 2000 actually gets, or that, you know, Spider-Man 2, the movie game, or Spider-Man PS4 ever get. So I was just expecting a sort of typical romp through New York with Spider-Man. I thought maybe it'd have a passable story. You know, while I played this game a lot as a kid because I had an N64, I didn't play this sequel purely because I didn't even know it existed. This game flew under the radar so far that this game just flew past me for the longest time. And I didn't really, like, I had a PlayStation growing up, but I probably wouldn't have played this game as a kid anyway, because while I played games like Tekken and Crash, Bandicoot, and a little bit of Spyro here and there, and Parappa the Rapper, the PlayStation was not a console that I bought games for. The N64 was, because it was mine. And so I wanted games for that console. And the fact that this didn't come out across various consoles like this did, because this also got a Dreamcast port of all things, I felt like, looking back, it may not have been the best experience. I never really looked into reviews. I didn't look into the plot. I didn't look into the gameplay. I went into this game very blind when I streamed it. This growing feeling of maybe I'm going to be getting into a tepid experience sort of kept growing into me. And the more that I sort of planned out playing this game, I sort of expected that kind of experience. And yet, I'm going to say it, Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro is kind of an underrated sequel, because it does what a proper sequel should. It uses the original not only as a building block with which to sprout new ideas from, but it uses the mechanics from the first game in more interesting ways that you may not think about. And I will say my experience was actually pretty nice. You know, I think that this is an amicably pulled together sequel to a game that I hold so near and dear. Even though this is developed by a completely different studio, I feel like Vicarious Visions understood the vision that Neversoft had, especially by late game, and they expect you to have played the game that this is a sequel to in a lot of instances. Whether it's the on-ground levels that see you exploring a little more of a sandbox while trying to figure out what you need to do, like getting the keys to a bomb, or the train yard level where you're combing through these three areas and trying to find out which buttons to push to open a lock. Or even the hostage situation level. It feels like the stakes are a little more ramped up from the first game in that regard. Or the boss fights, which each of them require you to interact with the environment or with them in a way that isn't just as head-on like a lot of the boss fights were in the first game. Sure, the first game had the Rhino fight, and the Carnage fight, and the Doc Ock fight, and even the Venom fight to a degree, but this, every boss fight here, whether it's the Electro fight with having to throw the barrels at him, the Lizard fight with having to get the serum and putting it into your webbing, or the Hammerhead fight, which was very obtuse at pulling the gun away before you fought him. Every boss here has you interacting with them in a way that is not like the ones in the first game, and sees you utilizing everything that Spider-Man has in his arsenal to reach the end.
Hell, even the fact that the Sandman sort of has a mini boss fight sequence when you're chasing the train early in the game before you fight him actually late in the game was a nice touch that I thought helped sort of flesh out this world just a little bit more.
And while I think it was frustrating at points, like the aforementioned Hammerhead fight, or the fucking silo climb in the penultimate level, if you saw me stream, you know the frustrations I faced there.
I could just grab onto anything, literally anything. Anything. Why can't I grab onto this wall? That's what I want to know. Why can't I grab onto the wall?
You're Spider-Man. That's like your thing. You like grab walls and you hold on to them. That's like half your shtick, bro. Like, what the hell? Let me tell you, this is a really flawed portion of this game. This portion is like, and it's not even just like, oh, cause it's inconsistent. Like, it'd be one thing if it's something I can't do, but it's an inconsistent quality of this game. Like that. Like, why did that just happen? Why did that just happen? And this is what made me rage quit before, because I think I got here before. I got to the second portion here, and it stopped. It worked less, and it was like, Pete'sty, what you doing, man? I just died, and now I've got to start it again. Da 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 dee dee da da. Yeah, 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 yeah. God, this sucks.
I feel like, by and large, this game is a very solid experience. And coming off of the heels of playing a game, I'm glad I played this first before playing the sequel. I feel like Vicarious Visions put everything they could into making this a worthwhile sequel. I feel like the story isn't as interesting as the story in this one. It's alright, and I don't think the Rogues Gallery usage was as well-rounded as it was in this. While I like Shocker, I don't think he needed to be in this game, because Electro is already here. And yeah, they have electric webbing too, so electricity just kind of feels like the core component of this game, aesthetically wise. I just feel like they could have done somebody else. The Vulture could have been in here, and it would have been less awkward for him to be here. And you could have, like, shot his webbing and pulled him down before you fought him or something. I don't know. But by and large, I did really enjoy this experience. Were some of it incredibly hard? Absolutely. Not only was the silo difficult, but the fucking plane sequence was one of the hardest things I'd ever done with this particular Spider-Man in a way that was very satisfying to actually find the solution to.
There's a web cartridge over here I can grab. Will that stop the plane? I guess I got it in like a perpetual spiral right now.
Air Spidey.
Woo!
Do I think it's as good as the original? No, like I said, the story doesn't measure up quite to the mystery planted in this game, but I do feel like a lot of the components in this game do come to a head pretty well. I also really like the Electro boss fight in the end. I think that it's very fun, and I like the scale at which it is set. I like some of the tongue-in-cheek references to the first game and some of the cutscenes. I like the headlines that pop up between each level. Sure, it's not quite as flashy as some of the comic book panel stuff from the first game, but I think it's a fun addition that this game presents. And overall, I really liked my experience with this, in spite of some of the pitfalls that I faced while streaming it. And I had a lot of fun streaming it and showing off my first experiences with this game that's been kind of on my bucket list for a long time. I'd probably give this game, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. I gave this a 7. I'd give this a 6. It's very solid. I feel like some of the bosses here don't really feel all that necessary. I feel like some of the obtuse moments were a bit too frustrating. And I feel like some of the levels, for as great as the highs are, some of the lows in this game are so fucking frustrating. But I think if you like this game, it's a worthwhile sequel to get to if you ever find it in the wild. And those are my thoughts on Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. I had a lot of fun playing this game. It's not that long of a game. It's pretty in and it's out, kind of like this game. And I feel like it's an amicable slice of Spider-Man that I played this year. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you like it? Do you like Spider-Man? Are you excited for more Year of the Spider? Let me know in the comments down below. If you did like it, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerd content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons if you want to join their ranks to get early access to content, exclusive content, or to help drive the community. It's linked in the description. I'm going to get out of here, though. Thank you again so very much for watching. Thank you to those that joined me on the streams while I was playing this game. I'm going to get out of here. I've been Rack. You guys have good lives and situations, and I'll see you another day.